Are you warm? It's hot in here. That's better. Vital MT Beers, welcome to the Gear Show, where we talk about mountain bikes, mountain biking, MTB, riding bicycles in the mountains, and stuff about bikes. Everything we talk about in the show today will be linked in the description below, so don't hesitate to scroll a little bit and find what you're interested in. The Bell Super Air R landed in the studio with its detachable chin bar, flex spherical, and MIPS technology. A bunch of vents and 640 grams for the size medium. As you saw, removing the chin bar is a snap with the two quick release levers. Putting it back on, you'll fumble around a little bit, but after some practice, you get the hang of it. I've had a few rides in this now and are pretty stoked on how it feels. The Bell Super Air R comes in small, medium, and large sizes. In Fox and Troy Lee helmets, I run a size large. The size large Bell fits me just fine too. There's 7 different color options. The helmet meets CPSC bicycle and CE EN 1078 standards. And it should be noted that Bell does not mention the ASTM F1952 helmet standard in their description of the Super Air R. For $275, you can protect your dome and your face. Hit bellhelmets.com or the link in the description below for more info. Jeez. On Tuesday, there were 3 new bikes that launched. One was brand new from scratch. 2 were new builds or kind of mild tweaks to existing models. Not to mention Santa Cruz announced their PayDirt initiative, which gives $1 million over 3 years towards trail access and trail projects. Okay, back to bikes. Marin launched 2 models of their new Rift Zone Carbon. This is one of them, the Rift Zone Carbon 2. And we've had a chance to rally it for the last couple weeks. We've decided that we're trademarking a new mountain bike classification. Get ready for it. Underbike. Timestamp it, witness, you've seen it. Cross country, down country, underbike, trail bike, enduro bike, freeride bike, downhill bike. Matt Jones will be like, I'm gonna go underbiking today. And he takes something like the Rift Zone to the Rampage course and Huck Cliffs on it. You think, will it work? Whatever you call this 125mm 29er, don't call it off the back. All we're thinking is that Marin pretty much effed up by pigeonholing themselves into the made for fun slogan. This bike is way more than fun. It's a freaking blast to ride. It has modern, but not way too psycho out there geometry. It's got a 455 reach on the medium, 480mm reach on the large, a 65.5 degree head angle, and a solid, well-performing build with Fox 34 performance and 12-speed Shimano SLX drivetrain on the $4,399 Rift Zone Carbon 2 that we got to shred. A PNW loam lever and deity bars, they add a nice touch of some name brand bling to the spec too. You can hit marinbikes.com for the info, or you can go to jensonusa.com and buy it directly. Either way, you're gonna be underbiking before you know it. Come on, underbike, you legit? Where you at, Matt Jones? Another announcement is that Pivot launched an enduro build of their Trail 429. And Bernard Kerr, like he always does, makes us ashamed of how we ride when we watch what he does in his videos. Bernard is nasty. This limited edition enduro build, should we call it underbike, comes with 140mm travel Fox 36, 34mm wide Reynolds rims, and some other beefy spec that take it up into this more aggressive kind of riding package. $75.99. It's not cheap, but if it makes us ride like Bernard, we're down to take a chance. Speaking of Bernard, he's trying to qualify for the first Supercross of 2020 in Anaheim. Can you do it? Last but not least, on the lightweight short travel bike tip, underbike. Canyon launched their Neuron CF SLX. They go into some details about how the carbon layup is different, the fibers are different. What it equates to for the everyday person is that the frame weighs 2,280 grams. That's 250 grams less than the existing Neuron CF SL. The Neuron gets 130 mils of travel. It has more conservative geometry than some of the bikes we've talked about, but the way Canyon looks at it is that this bike can still rip, but it can dabble in that cross-country race element if you want to go that route. $64.99 in the US. Hit up canyon.com for information on availability and pricing in your region for the Neuron CF SLX. By the way, I'm kidding about the whole underbike thing, but if it does stick, I want $4.72 per bike sold using the name. If expensive bikes aren't your thing, Vital has your back. Don't miss out on our $2,000 full suspension mountain bike comparison video that dropped. Where can you find it? In the description below, of course. And it's pretty amazing to see.
It's time for Let's Weigh Some Stuff!
That was fun, kind of startled me a little bit. Does anyone need a dropper post that gets 8.2 inches of travel? Vital's Johan Hjord has spent some time aboard the 1UP 210 with, you guessed it, 210 millimeters of drop, 8.2 inches. Hey Iceman, is this thing just for Reggie Miller or Shaq?
What was that? Shaq's dropper? Yeah, if Shaq ever needed a dropper post, this is probably the shortest one he'd ever consider. Though we're pretty sure he's holding out for the new 50mm stanchion standard to come out. He's going to need that. Now, 1UP's droppers come in a variety of sizes and lengths, and because they offer what is probably among the lowest total stack height and total post length for a given amount of travel, chances are you can squeeze more travel out of your frame with the 1UP dropper than pretty much anything else out there on the market. Dodgy droppers? No thanks, we've collectively paid our dues there. We've already spent a lot of time on 1UP's droppers and we know that they deliver awesome performance at a great price point, but more is always better, so 1UP has gone back to the drawing board and they've come up with this new 210mm travel version. But that's not all. You can also easily adjust the travel of your 1UP dropper post in 10mm increments. For example, the 210mm version tested here can be adjusted down to 200 or 190mm of travel simply by unscrewing the collar and sliding in a pair of very small spacers. As for the remote, it comes with a separate clamp of course, but it can also be attached directly to your brake levers if you run SRAM or Shimano brakes. The action of the 1UP dropper is smooth, quick and fairly precise. A distinct clunk lets you know that your post has reached full extension, but it doesn't shoot up like a rocket either. The remote is fairly easy to modulate. Squeeze it to less than full travel and you can easily fine-tune your saddle height. Our only real gripe here is that the remote is positioned a little bit awkwardly. It's meant to mimic the placement of the smaller shifter lever from back in the days when we all had front derailleurs. You've probably seen one in the museum somewhere. It sits in the right place, which is all well and good until you press it. It then ends up traveling a bit too much forward, leaving you to kind of stretch your thumb to get all of the travel. Other than that, thanks to a short C-tube and my lovely long legs, I was able to run the full 210mm of drop with room to spare. I actually found that to be a little bit much, but that's what's so rad about this post. You can shim it down to 200 or 190, that's probably my sweet spot, and it's super easy to do. The design is based around a closed internal cartridge, which is super easy to replace by yourself if you ever should have a failure, and it costs only $60 if that should happen outside of warranty. All of this for just $250, including the remote, makes the 1UP dropper one of the top choices available on the market today.
Being underbiked is vastly more fun than being overbiked. That's by Vital member JCL in our Norco Revolver review. Do you agree with that statement? Does this mean that JCL gets underbike credit? We'll split it. Come on, JCL, let's split the trademark. Speaking of rad underbikedness, Banshee launched 3 new bikes last week, including this Phantom V3 29er with 115 millimeters of travel. There's also the Prime V3 29er and the Spitfire V3 27.5 bike. Both of those have 135 millimeters of travel. Get the deets on these alloy steeds at bansheebikes.com or in the description below. What do 10,000 mountain bikers think? Nope, that's not a joke, but our annual reader survey is in and the results are super interesting. There's a ton of fascinating data about wheel size preference, brands of bikes to buy, types of bikes to buy, so much more. We've done this yearly survey since 2012. We've been tracking the trends throughout the years, and it's all based on your input, if you're one of the 10,000 people that filled the survey out. If you're a data nerd, you're gonna love it. Wonder where it can be found though, that's the hard part. Oh yeah, in the description below. What do you think about mullet bikes, or 69ers, or mixers, or 2975.38, whatever you want to call them? What do you think about them? Speaking of mullet bikes, remember when Danny Hart did this at Mount St. Anne? Gnarly. Hey, have you watched K-Dub, the Kyle Warner kind, not the Kevin Windham kind, and his Skydio drone videos? You should check it out. It's pretty cool, and the future of robot filmers is here, and you get to see Kyle haul some serious.
It's time for Let's Weigh Some Stuff!
All right, user poll. Pow. Gumwall sidewalls on your tires or black sidewalls on your mountain bike tires? Since that poll is probably going to cause a fight, you're gonna need some protection, some body armor.
15 years ago, a certain 17-year-old kid made rampage history, and his protection sponsor would soon go on to leave its mark on the mountain bike world as well. I'm talking about SixSixOne and Kyle Straight. Of course, everybody remembers that Sui no-hander, and I'm pretty sure everybody has owned a pair of SixSixOne Kyle Straight knee pads as well. Fast forward to 2019, Kyle is still throwing those massive Suis off cliffs in Utah, and SixSixOne is still making protection. SixSixOne has maybe been in a bit of a slump over the last few years, but they're on the comeback trail and they've launched plenty of new products recently with more to come. Descending in a straight line from the original Kyle Straight pad, this new DBO is based around the same principles, a soft viscoelastic pad attached to a soft fabric body. We tested SixSixOne's Evo pad a while back, and although we liked the comfort, we found it a little bit lacking in other areas. The DBO fixes all that with improved lateral protection and a much more consistent fit. Definitely one of the more comfortable pads out there. It now sits better on the knee, and it'll happily accompany you all day for anything from the bike park to long trail rides. You can pair it up with the elbow protectors from the same series if you want your arm safe too. It's only about $70 per pair, and it's all money well spent. Remember back when upper body armor was called a pressure suit? I'm not too sure about why we called it a pressure suit. Maybe it was the pressure of all those hard bits of plastic digging into your body, or maybe it was peer pressure to take it off again. Whatever the reason, the name has changed and so has the product. The Recon Advance is the latest upper body protector from SixSixOne, and let me tell you, it's a different animal to those 1984 hockey goalie Halloween outfits. This thing is constructed with lightweight materials. It weighs in at under a kilo for the whole thing, yet it still manages to deliver all the relevant safety certifications for back, shoulder and elbow pads. The back protector is made from choroid. You know that stuff that looks like somebody glued a whole bunch of straws together? Nobody glued a bunch of straws together. It just looks that way. Don't glue a bunch of straws together. Anyway, this stuff is super lightweight and it delivers all the relevant protection while breathing a whole lot better than a big viscoelastic pad on your back would. Anyway, SixSixOne gave this product a lot of thought, and it shows in all the additional features. You can take a hydration bladder, which is cool for those long, hot lift rides in the summer. It has plenty of stash pockets, so you'll never have to suffer the humiliation of riding down the lift to buy a spare tube again. And to round off, SixSixOne has their padlock system, which allows you to connect different pieces of body armor together with a bunch of little connectors and straps. On the trail, this thing is about as comfortable as they come. Yeah, you're still going to feel like you're wearing armor, but it's much less restrictive these days, and this stuff breathes a whole lot better than it used to as well. We've tested in some pretty hot conditions, and we're still here to tell the tale. We've not done any extensive crash testing, but the fit and the construction of the Recon Advance have us thinking that it would indeed do its job if we needed to call on it. And on that topic, time for me to gear up and go get ready to read the comment section. Relax. Breathe. You don't really mean it. It's gonna be okay.
Do you like that? Do you like that? Do you like that? Do you like that? Vital Gear Club, gearclub.vitalmtb.com. What would you like to see on Vital's Gear Show? Let us know. Let's go ride some underbikes. Let's go underbiking. Come on, make it stick. Kidding, we don't need any new names. Please, please, we beg.